Hi everyone, my name is Martin and welcome to another great edition of MP Astro. And today's video is I'm going to feature the Skywatcher 8-inch Quattro. Now over the years I've done a lot of modifications to this telescope. Now the telescope's a great ultra fast f4 imaging telescope, and don't get me wrong, it is the best bang for your money. Okay, if you've got a limited budget and you want to get color-free optics with ultra fast, collect all that data super quick, then the Quattro series of imaging telescopes is definitely the one for you. Yes, they are a bit on the big side. You do need a heavy mount, and a mount even like this, which is the EQ5, it's too much weight for this 8-inch Quattro. Bear in mind that Skywatcher have now launched the new 150 Quattro series. That's a 6-inch imaging Newtonian. Now bear in mind that you do need to collimate these telescopes, because when you use the telescope to image, you've got to routinely collimate the primary and secondary mirrors every time you start imaging. There is problems where they dew up as well from time to time, so you're going to have to use a dew shield or dew heaters to try and combat the moisture from onto the primary mirror or the secondary mirror. So there are a few flaws. You do get bigger aperture, and that bigger aperture will give you a lot more resolution on the deep sky objects in particular, and also great for planets as well. However, this is ideally suited for deep sky imaging because of that f4 ratio. Now there is an awesome upgrade you can do, and I have featured this in my last video, which is the Aplonatic f4 chroma corrector. That chroma corrector, which is designed for the Quattro, does actually sharpen a lot of the chroma correction across the field. Again, it is a bit pricey. You'll expect to pay over £200 for this chroma corrector. But if the stars really do concern you about the chroma, then I advise you to check out the video from the top. I did a video on the review on this f4 chroma corrector. It really is a fantastic addition. There is a cheaper variant, which is the standard Skywatcher chroma corrector, but ideally that is suited for around about f5 or onwards Newtonians. It does work with this telescope, but it doesn't correct the whole field of view. That's why the Quattro chroma corrector is more suitable upgrade for this telescope. But if you're not bothered about chroma, then what's the point, right? If you're not concerned about the stars being pinpoint, then who cares? This Quattro will deliver some outstanding images without a doubt. But there is one key issue, and like always, we've got this problem with these annoying Starlink satellites. And if you've not seen that video, I actually highlight that problem, how bad it has become. So in the video, please check out the description at the top. I did a video on speeding up a refractor. However, I'm hungry and thirsty for power, and I've been looking around for a possible upgrade for this Newtonian. I want to achieve much faster results and capturing all that faint detail on the galaxies and the nebula. And there are two things I've looked at. There is a telescope service, which is a chroma corrector, and a focal reducer, which speeds this up to f2.8, which I really wanted. However, it's a very expensive piece of equipment. We're talking costing around about £700 to £800 for that upgrade for a chroma corrector. So I found another solution, and I found another chroma corrector which will fit the bill. much better. I want to speed this telescope to f3 at least, because f3 is going to do a massive game changer on your images. You will literally collect light 4, maybe 5 times faster than a typical f7 or f10 telescope. I don't know the exact figures, but it will dramatically speed up the amount of time. And in this video I will show you what I bought and how to upgrade it to a stunning f3 Newtonian, which is really fast. Okay, not as fast as compared to a Celestron Rasa telescope at f2, but I can't afford Rasa prices. So my next alternative is to upgrade the existing equipment that I have, that I can afford. And like this Quattro, this comes pretty close to a Rasa. Not as fast, but comes very close. So f3 is not to be sniffed at. It's still very, very quick compared to a lot of telescopes. So that's what I'm looking at. I want to beat the Starlink satellite trailings. All right, I need to beat that problem by collecting the data much quicker. Is the only source, is the only solution for me. I know that there's people that use software to edit those Starlink trailings out the images, but personally I want to try and avoid that, and by collecting as much data as possible. So the quicker I can get those images, the better. Yes, I will get trailing in some images, but the more the merrier, the better the image. The more you stack that image with more frames, the much more refined images you will get. And that's the whole purpose of me getting this upgrade. So I found this upgrade. Also in this video, there is actually 2 upgrades combined. So after doing a lot of research, I found what I want for this chroma corrector that I want, but also I've also found another upgrade which you can actually upgrade not just the Quattro, but you can upgrade the PDS and a standard Skywatcher Newtonian reflector, the P-class series I call them. So in this video there is actually 2 upgrades featured in here. So before we start, please hit the like button, and again, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe onto my channel. And also don't forget to share this video out, because there'll be someone who has a Quattro telescope and wanting to upgrade its performance. Okay, also don't forget to hit the bell. By hitting that bell will keep you notified for any new videos which I'll publish out very, very soon. So if you're interested and you want to find out more, keep watching and let's do this. So we'll take a closer look on the actual product itself, and this is the Nexus box you can see here, quite well packaged from Starlink. Now what this does is it will turn your Newtonian telescope into a fast, high quality astrographic instrument. Now with this, it is a chroma corrector, which in order it gives out sharp stars over a large field of view. And like with most chroma correctors, they don't usually have a focal reducing effect. However, this one does, and it reduces it down to 0.7 times focal reduction, which will turn a common focal ratio of f4 Newtonian into an f3 system, which will give a larger field of view and reducing the exposure times by a factor of 1.8 times. With this focal reducer, compared to an f10 system of a telescope like you usually find on a Schmidt-Cassegrain, an f10 system, right, to get the same results, this device will speed up the Newtonian 4 times faster than f10 Schmidt-Cassegrain. So that's something to consider here. Now this Nexus incorporates an extra low dispersion ED glass, Obviously I don't know what kind of lens elements installed with this, but the good thing is it is parafocal, so it will not affect the focus of your imaging tree. And this chroma corrector will also accommodate with a lot of DSLR cameras, particular half crop sensors. So if you have an APS-C sensor, this will correct the image up to 28 millimeters. So yes, you do need a back focus of 55 millimeters, but that's usually pretty standard with most chroma correctors, is the 55 air gap is required. Now the cost of this Nexus is £479, which is quite expensive, but it's the cheapest one I can find. There is an alternative. If you check out the link below, I have put another alternative, but it's much more expensive. Yes, it does reduce it even further, 0.73 times focal reducer, and it will speed up the Newtonian to f2.8, which will make it ultra fast. However, the price difference is dramatic. It literally costs around 600 to almost £700. So this is the cheaper option if you want extreme speed for your Newtonian reflector. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it out of its box. As you can see, well packaged. I like how Star Owner have given you some information, like a thank you. Really nice to see that. And there is an instruction manual which you can download from their official website. So that's good to see. Nicely packaged, well formed insert. It's what you expect to pay from a high quality product, and Star Owner is no exception. So here it is. There's not much to it other than if we take a closer look. As you can see, it is quite heavy, which is 335 grams, which is about 0.74 pounds. The overall length of it is 80 millimeters, so it's actually quite shorter than the standard f4 chroma corrector. This one's a lot more compact than that, though there is a chunk of glass in it. As you can see, you've got some really good coatings on there. A nice coating of glass on there, so high premium optics there without a doubt. There is a lot of glass in here, I must admit, and at the back you get a decent screw-on cap, and you've got an M48 thread which is on there, which enables me to attach a T-ring, an M48 T-ring on there, and it screws on there very nice, as you can see there. It also incorporates a filter which is in here, so I can connect a light pollution filter of your choice. I'm using the mighty Optolong L Pro filter, fantastic filter, and I can screw that on like so. I must admit there is around about 2 to 3 mil of thread in there, so it gives you plenty of thread to screw on, even like the more bulkier filters like the Barder, for example. They have a lot of thread in there. Now the good thing about this, folks, the good thing about this Nexus is that you can use up to large sensors, but please, if you're going to use large sensors, anything higher than a half crop sensor, so your typical DSLR APS format sensors, you will get some form of vignetting in your images. So in other words, you can use bigger sensors or bigger CCDs, but you might need to take a lot more flat frames to combat the vignetting effect. So with the Nexus you can connect your DSLR camera, Nikon, Canon, whatever you have. You can connect your T-ring directly onto the camera. Now you don't need no spacers for this. This is already at the correct air gap for this camera. Now if you're going to use a typical Sony or any other camera that has a mirrorless camera, alright, so basically you've just got a direct sensor in there, you've got to use spacers and get the ideal air gap of 55mm in order for the Nexus to work. Now getting that air gap is very crucial. If you don't get that 55mm air gap, is that your stars will not be corrected across the field of view. So it's very crucial that you must use some M48 spacers to adjust that air gap. Okay, I have done a video many years ago highlighting it, how you can do it. All right, please check it out at the top. Please use that video as a guide. It will tell you how to adjust the air gap for a given chroma corrector or field flattener or focal reducer. All right, so it is a must that you get the 55mm air gap. So as you say, very simple design, bolts on with a filter without no hassle whatsoever. Now this Nexus is designed for DSLR cameras, but you can use it for dedicated astro cameras. But again, please use M48 spacers to get that air gap. I don't think there's adaptation to convert it to M48 thread, but I'm assuming that there is some adaptation if you want to connect it to T2 or M42 threads. All right, there must be some way to do that. But again, I've ordered this Nexus from 365 Astronomy. It is also available from Rother Valley Optics and First Light Optics. So please check out those astro retailers as well. They do sell the Nexus at a good price. So as you can see, we've got the Nexus attached, okay, and we're just going to show you a comparison between the Skywatcher chroma corrector, which is the F4 aplomatic chroma corrector, and you can see how much bigger that is. All right, and you can see it's quite a bit big. I mean, this is probably about 100mm long. So the Nexus is a little bit more compact and a little bit more forgiving. So again, it's very simple to add. It's very simple to connect it to the telescope. You just connect it straight in, like so, and then just lock it in place like that. And then all you do is just focus the image, and it's literally, there you go. You've got an F3 very fast Newtonian imaging telescope. So as you can see here, with the Nexus connected to the camera, connected to the telescope, you can see straight away it fits nice and flush, all right, on the telescope focuser with no flexure or free play whatsoever, and that is also good to see as well. So as you can see, like with the Skywatcher F4 chroma corrector, the filter used to stick quite a bit. Now on the Nexus, you can see the filter is not sticking out as much. So it's good to show you this, that the Nexus being quite short, you can see through the Quattro that the filter is not exposed to the elements. So that means it will reduce the moisture condensing onto that filter, plus it will reduce some of the stray light entering the tube. So that is something to consider with the Nexus chroma corrector and reducer. So I do like that. That's really is good to see. I do notice that using the F4 chroma corrector, it does enhance a bit of weird artifacts in your images. With this advantage, you can see there, if we just brighten up, if we brighten it up, you can see the filter is well protected, all right, and it's shielded away, so it will reduce some of that glare, all right, and also prevent moisture from settling onto that filter. There is one upgrade that I've just found. It is quite rare to find. Now, the main problem with this Quattro is, yes, the telescope produces diffraction spikes on the stars. Now, there is an upgrade that I found. Now, if you look closely at this picture, as you can see in that picture, there is like some kind of dark area channel across the field of one of the Pleiades stars, which is like a dark shadow. It's not a perfect diffraction spike star as such, and there is like some kind of dark region there. Also, there's a lot of halos within that image, and to be honest with you, it's not a bad thing, but the Quattro can do with a bit more of an upgrade. Now, the thing with this Quattro is it does have diffraction spikes to eliminate all the stray light, but also sharpen the stars and the field of view. You do not need to flock this telescope, because with those baffles inside there, it does eliminate all that stray light, and it does actually darken the tube quite a bit. Now, what I have found, and there is an awesome upgrade that you can get, and it literally doesn't take long to fit. And I found this, it's available in First Light Optics, but it's also available from Telescope Service. Now, I had to order mine from Telescope Service, which again, be aware of the shipping costs and all that involved. But I thought, well, I might as well get this, and it cost me around about 46 euros, which is a bit pricey. However, I found this awesome little package. Now, what this is, it's done by a company called WEGA, which is pronounced as WEGA. Well, actually, because this is a German modification, WEGA is pronounced with W in Germany. So it is actually called WEGA, not WEGA. But with WEGA telescopes, they introduce this rather simple modification. And what this is, it is an extra baffle which you can fit onto this telescope. Now, simple modification, but what this extra baffle will do is it will enable you to combat some of these weird artifacts within the stars, will help sharpen the stars a bit more and reduce the halo effect. Also reduce this weird artifact that I've been having. It's like a dark channel. I have no idea what it is. But for a simple modification like this, why not buy it? Because it's worth it in the end. It's just going to improve the performance of this telescope. Yes, I'm aware there is loads of baffles in this telescope, but one extra baffle really does pay off. And for sake of the extra effort, I think, okay, let's go for it. Again, the item, it's only printed plastic, very simple design, but the good thing is it's exactly the 200 millimeters. Now, that's all it is. It's quite simple. Now, to install it, what I've done is I've marked out some masking tape, cut along there to mark the exact position of where that mirror is. You don't really need to do it. Personally, it's sort of thing that it's quite a thing now I keep doing. But what we're going to do is going to remove the 6 screws around the tube, like so. Okay, well, one last screw. We just then remove it whilst keeping firm grip on the primary mirror. And then just gently and there you go, and just remove it nice and easy like so. So as you can see here, we removed the primary mirror. It is a bit dusty, but I'm just going to use a blow brush just to clean it up, okay? But before we do that, you'll notice there is 2 screws at each of the clamps that support the primary mirror. Now, what we're going to do is carefully remove these screws, okay? Now these screws do not need to be tight, right? Too tight. Otherwise, if you over tighten these, you will pinch the optics. And by pinching the optics, you're going to deform your images. So the stars look like comet trails. So these are only tight to a certain degree, all right? There's no specific torque settings on these, but as long as they are tight and just enough free space to put a piece of paper in between the primary mirror and the clamp, right? That is the correct tightness of these mirror supports. So what you've got to do is you slowly and gradually remove the screws in sequence. Carefully, be careful not to drop any tools or anything on the primary mirror. So that's why I've got a grip of 2 hands. So you remove one clamp, okay, try not to touch the primary mirror. Then you remove the other clamp like so. Totally remove them. Remove that. So now all the clamps and screws are removed. We then grab our baffle. Now there's no specific way you need to put it, but what I found is to line up. You can line up each of these screws, all right? And the good thing is, now this baffle is designed for the 200 PDS. This is also can fit the Quattro as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to carefully, it is very fiddly, so patience is a virtue on this one. Now as you notice, we're putting the clamp and the screw through this part. The baffle does not touch the primary mirror. Okay, so you place one screw first, right, a couple of threads. That's all you need to do, a couple of threads. Now we get another clamp, again with a screw in place. Place the clamp, you place this clamp underneath like so, and then you grab the other screw and then you line up that screw. Okay, and then you just place the screw, get it a couple of threads. So you need to do a couple of threads. And then you grab your last clamp, line that one underneath, like so. Grab another screw, place that over the clamp and turn it with a couple of threads. You then use your screwdriver, 2 hands, okay, just tighten up a couple of threads either side, and either side this side. Now you notice now the baffle is not touching the primary mirror. So you've got a baffle there. Now you will have to, you're going to have to move the, you're going to have to line up the holes, right? So once you've got them with a couple of threads, you then grab the second screw and just wiggle it until you line up the hole, and then tighten that up. As you tighten each of those screws, you then get a clean piece of paper and just gently, but the idea of the paper is you don't want to over tighten these, so you want enough gap. And as you can see, that's not quite, that's over tightened, you see. So we're going to slacken it out, and you want to have enough of a gap to feed the paper through. So you have to slacken these screws out. And as you can see, we can just about I can just feed the paper just through that gap. We then check this side, and again I'm too tight on that side, so again we slacken these off and then just test it, and as you can see I can just get the paper through the gap. Okay, see there. As you can see, as we feed the paper through, you can just see we can just feed the paper just through that. Okay, so once you can feed that paper through those gaps between the clamps, that is the correct tightness of the primary mirror. And this, by doing this, will stop you from pinching the optics and gives you weird distortions in the images. So after you get a quick blow of the prime mirror and you've set the screws properly, you then place the mirror into the main tube, and as you can see where we've marked the mirror, okay, you can see we've got the markings already lined up. So we just need to, so as you can see now, we've lined up the holes and the tape, and then we're going to replace the 6 screws, and let's get these screws in there. First line them up on a couple of threads, and then tighten up in a sequence like so. So we've got the WEGA upgrade now installed. It's now secured. You will have to collimate the telescope after you've done the mod, and again I highly recommend that you use a laser collimator for this telescope because it's a short focus reflector, so you need to get the collimation pretty crucial. So it's a nice little mod to do. Just take your time, don't rush it, it's definitely worth the effort. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see what results we get from it. So as you can see there, you can't really see the baffle. In fact, only just. The good thing about this mod, it's not going to obstruct the primary mirror. You can just see it down the bottom, but it's not going to affect the performance by the reduction. Right, there's no reduction on this mod of the inside of that ring, so you've got no restriction or light reduction on the primary mirror. As you can see here, I've done a few mods there. Now on the standard Skywatcher, the Quattro series now comes with the secondary mirror is now darkened. Obviously before that I had to paint it with optical tube paint from Telescope Service, and which you have to darken the edges of the flat mirror. Now you don't need to do that because it comes as standard. You'll notice here I've got some modified nailed knobs which you can do the collimation by hand, so no use of using tools. I've also got an internal dew heater, again from Telescope Service. Again, this has been working absolutely fine. Alright, I've had no dramas whatsoever with the condensation on the flat mirror. Alright, and also I've darkened the focus tube as well with that paint. Now I was going to flock the optical tube by flocking it, but to be honest with you, there's no real need to do this when the telescope has got baffles. When you've got baffles like this, right, this is just good enough. So we've got the extra baffle down the bottom of that WEGA mod that hopefully will correct the wheel artifacts on the stars, hopefully reduce the halo a little bit and makes the diffraction spikes a little bit sharper. So not to worry there. So there is a few mods I've done to this telescope over the years. Again, if you want to flock it, personally you can flock this side. There's no need to flock it at the end because there's baffles that runs all the way down there. Alright, so now we've got, God knows how many baffles we've got there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus that extra 10 baffle on that WEGA mod. So there's plenty of baffles there to eliminate a lot of that stray light and correct those stars. Now something else I need to add with this Quattro, there is a weak point on the focuser. Now this focus is pretty good, but some reason I don't know why Skywatcher have not got a focuser that fits on this tube properly. Here you get like a gap in between the focuser and the optical tube, and that gap will allow stray light to enter. So I've seen a lot of videos where people take that focuser off and put a gasket in between there. However, there is one easy quick fix, and what I've used is I smeared some black silicone instant gasket, which is this stuff. Alright, something I've got in my work shed. I use this and I just smeared this black silicone in between the gaps between this side and the other side, and with this instant gasket it will fill in that gap. It is messy, so what you do is you smear it in, push the gasket in between the focuser and the optical tube, and then wipe off all the excess of instant gasket. The good thing about this gasket, it will block that stray light, and it's a nice simple fix. you do this on this side, and then you do it on the other side, and then the other side exactly the same, but it's not as bad. All right, but you still put some of that instant gasket in between there, but that's where the light comes from. As you can see here, there's a massive gap here. It really is a massive gap, but because we've used that silicon, it is now sealed that gap. So now I will not get any stray light entering that tube. It's a nice simple fix. Some people say use a gasket, but you don't really need to. As long as you fill in that gap here, it's completely fine. Well, guys and girls, I think we've got it. I think we've got a decent clear night. Fingers crossed it stays like this. And we've got the MP Astro shed open, and we've got the mighty Skywatcher Newtonian. I've got it collimated, ready to go. Got all the bits sort of ready to be plugged in. Just wait for my laptop to charge up, and like I say, we've got the camera set at ISO 800. We're going to do 2 minutes exposure times. Probably is a bit, probably is not enough, but I don't know. We've got everything just about ready, and to prove to you guys and girls that right, we take a close look around here. Like always, we've got the Nexus. I'll just unopen that. So there we go. We've got the Nexus there, already assembled together. I'm just going to lock it in place. So yeah, we've got the Nexus on there, on the camera, ready to go. And at the moment I have got the Optolong L Pro filter as well, which is really good filter. It's a broadband filter, but it will eliminate some of the light pollution surrounding around this area. Although I do have good skies, I have Bottle 4 skies, but it's really impressive to see that I do get good skies, but I still have to use a light pollution filter now and again, because you never know. Don't forget, the moon is not quite up; it's half moon. But I can, as long as I can get away with a bit of imaging, I should be good to go. So as you can see, that's the good thing about the Nexus. The filter is quite protected in the actual housing itself. Alright, so the filter and the Nexus is not going to get dewed up. I will be running my dew heaters as well while I'm imaging. Alright, and I'll be powering it through my legendary Pegasus Astro power pocket box there. Right, and that will power my dew heaters, right, for the front and for the guide scope. Okay, so we're ready to go. Fingers crossed. It's looking very promising indeed. So yeah, it's looking very promising indeed. So fingers crossed, see what happens, and we'll see what we get. I've noticed that Venus is up there. I think it's Venus, I'm not quite sure. Might be Jupiter, but it looks like Venus to me. So Venus is up. Love to get a nice shot through this Newtonian, but I'm going to focus on the deep sky images. Alright, so I don't know what image I'm going to image so far, because the Nexus and the DSLR will give me a wider field of view. I don't really want to image galaxies if I can help it. Alright, I want to get something like a nebula or something like that, but because it's around about March, April time, It's more or less drawn into the galaxy season, so I don't know what I'm going to do at the moment. And obviously Andromeda Galaxy will be a bit low in these skies, but we'll see anyway. We'll see. So fingers crossed, and let's do this. Well, guys and girls, here it is. We've finally got a clear sky. Finally, after waiting 2 months. Alright, you don't know how frustrating it is not being able to image deep sky for quite some time. And as you can see, we've got the NEQ6 mount, polar aligned, and we've got the Quattro already focused. Using, take a closer look, as you can see here, I'm using a banner stuff mask. Again, there's description in the link below for this banner stuff mask. Alright, very highly recommended that you use one, particularly for DSLR camera. And as you can see, we've got the actual auto guiding set up already. Now, because I'm using DSLR, alright, I don't need to bother about any capture software on the laptop. I'm just basically using the PhD guiding. At the moment, the camera's been playing silly buggers at the moment, but we'll get it sorted out. Alright, but I'm just trying to get this guiding sorted out. But it has been a bit problematic. Seeing is okay, it's not brilliant, but yeah, we're guiding back on again. Right, so we've got the mount ready to go. We're tracking M81 and M82. Okay, obviously Borders Galaxy and Sigor Galaxy in the plough region. Now, we've got the camera set at ISO 800. What I will do is I'll be dimming this down to eliminate any possible light pollution, because I don't want to get any light pollution into the actual camera itself, into the actual camera capturing that light pollution. So I've switched it off. But what I will do is we're going to start this. I'm going to start the timer, and here's my timer here. Again, I'm using a remote. Okay, so we just minimize that so you can see. There we go. Again, these are my settings. I'm doing 2 minutes exposure time. Alright, and I'm going to take loads of these frames. Okay, so at the moment, I'm just going to do a little test to see how good this Nexus is. Now, when I was focusing using the focus mask, the bright stars were very bright, and I mean very bright through the camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to just do an exposure. Now, these galaxies will be very small. So as we take a closer look, I'll try not to touch the telescope. We're at 15 seconds, not very long. I'm going to go up to about 30 seconds and see what we get. So 30 seconds. No way. No freaking way. No way. Right, hold on. What we'll do is put the camera light on, and I can't believe that. I've just got the two galaxies there, right? And we'll take a closer look, minimize it. You're got to be kidding me. I've actually got both the galaxies. Alright, they're a bit small, but I've actually got both galaxies in there with just 30 seconds exposure time. Are you kidding me? That is super quick. That is absolutely amazing. You've got a wide field of view as well, I've noticed. So the wide field, I've got a nice crisp image. There's hardly any coma. If we zoom in, just bear with me, guys and girls. We're just gonna zoom in and see how much detail we can achieve. So I've just zoomed in. Come on, camera, focus. Oh wow, we just got the spiral arms on M81, and I must admit all the stars are corrected, and I even just got the spiral arms just about visible. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. 30 seconds exposure time at ISO 800. That is absolutely unbelievable, guys and girls. Absolutely unbelievable. I just can't believe it. Yes, I've got a bit of noise in my image because I've not activated the cooling, but of course I just want to focus on the actual Nexus itself. And I must admit, that is absolutely amazing. We're going to have a look at the Cigar Galaxy and see. Okay, there's Cigar Galaxy, and if we just dim down the exposure, because sometimes you got to be kidding me, man. That we've just got the central, you know, the star explosion where it's like erupted, like a big, like a supernova in the middle of the galaxy. We've even got that through 30 seconds exposure time. That is unbelievable. That is absolutely amazing. That is so good. That is, I just can't believe it, guys and girls. This Nexus, absolutely awesome piece of kit, man. I just can't believe it. So then, as you can see then, guys and girls, I just can't believe what we got. F3, and I must admit, what a transformation, right? 30 seconds exposure time, and we've got that level of detail. That is just brilliant, man. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do 2 minutes exposure time as planned. Okay, so we're gonna hit it there, and I'm gonna dim down the lights so I don't ruin the shot. So yeah, as you can see there, we've got some amazing detail. I'm just going to check my guiding, see if it's okay. Yes, we're guiding well. All right, finally, at long last. But like you say, I've been having a bit of software issues here, which is quite annoying. Like, so again, this is the whole idea of this, is to show you guys and girls the real astronomy. So I've had a problem with my guiding, and I must admit it could be loose connections on the cable. I don't know, but I will be checking out my the cables. I think probably the ST4 is probably playing up, but not to worry. We're going to take those pictures anyway, and we're already at 50 seconds exposure time. This is going to be awesome. The amount of detail that I'll get with those two galaxies, I just can't wait to see what we get. The results, I have no idea what it's going to be like. All right,
But the whole idea of this video, guys and girls, to prove to you guys and girls that this is real hardcore evidence, right? No, it's not staged stuff, all right? I don't stage any of my work. Yes, my camera angles aren't great, but again, we're here to prove to you guys and girls, because things like this, particularly if you want to spend a lot of money on optical equipment like this, people don't want to spend a fortune until they've seen the results. And as you can see there, we're coming closer to the 2 minutes exposure time. I really can't wait for this, guys and girls. All right, really can't wait. And as we go through 2 minutes exposure, right, so what we do is we've cancelled that, and we're going to put on the light so that you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to go into live. Okay, so that was the last shot. I'm just going to check the last. Okay, just bear with me. Alright, that was the last Andromeda. Sorry about that, guys and girls, that's not the right one. There we go. Just going to dim that down. So as you can see, I'm just going to minimize the exposure. Come on, camera focus. Already we've got a lot of detail. If we zoom in, just going to zoom in the camera. Oh, look at that, we've got the spiral arms there at 2 minutes exposure, okay, of M81, and we're just gonna just up the thing so I can see what I'm doing, and we're just gonna check the cigar galaxy. Yeah, we've got some nice detail there. So 2 minutes exposure time. Not bad, not bad. As you can see, 2 minutes exposure, we start to whitewash the image a little bit. We've also got a galaxy in the little corner there as well. So that's also nice to see. So, wow, guys and girls. We've got a lot of detail there with 2 minutes exposure time. Unbelievable results. Absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, we've got a bit of a galaxy in the corner there. And we've got the two galaxies there, so we've got 3 galaxies in that picture, which is good to know. At the moment, yeah, I'm not quite central, but again, I'm not really bothered because I really want to get some awesome images. And as you can see then, guys and girls, absolutely fantastic results through and through. So what we'll do is we're going to take more pictures of that, all right, and just keep smashing those light photons at 2 minutes exposure time, all right, and just collect that detail. 2 minutes exposure time is what we need, all right, exactly. Just boost up that, just keep collecting those light frames and keep smashing it. And that's the good thing about this Nexus. It enables you to capture as much of the software as possible. Well, capture as much of the light frames as possible in the quickest time ever. Yes, we're going to get some star trailing from those horrible Starlinks, all right, but I want to try and capture that data super quick, no messing, and keep going, all right, and that's what we want to do. We're going to keep smashing those photons, and that's the whole idea of this, all right. So again, I'll keep you informed of anything that I need to do. So wish me luck, guys and girls, and let's do this. Smash that like button as well, all right. If you like what you see there with that Nexus, again, smash that like button in there, all right, and wish me luck, guys and girls. go, guys and girls. As you can see, we have just finished off with the Bode's Galaxy and Cigar Galaxy, and we're now collected around about 20 frames in literally about 45 minutes, I think. And as you can see, we're just starting out on collecting more data of the California Nebula. Alright, so as you can see there, we've just switched over to the next target because the clouds are starting to move in, typical. But as you can see, we're taking the 2 minutes exposure time at ISO 800, and I must admit, I can't believe how much data I've collected. 20 odd frames, I'm thinking, of the last galaxies I've taken. That is super quick. Now, don't get me wrong, I would have liked to just collect some more, but the whole idea of this video is to show to you guys and girls how quick you can move from one target to the next, collecting that data in literally like half the time. I mean, if I had my the triplet Apple refractor, which has a 0.6 times focal reducer and field flattener, that's at f4.1. I mean, that's pretty quick, but the level of detail that I'm getting from this telescope with the f3 will be a lot more detail in half the time compared to my refractor, because like I say, usually I have to capture some reasonable amount of data. Don't get me wrong, this is a normal DSLR camera. If I was using a normal DSLR camera with my refractor, I'll be taking around about 5 minutes exposure times usually. Usually if I'm using my dedicated Astro camera, which is my narrowband, or the mono camera that I have, the QHY183M, you're talking a lot quicker exposure times, but then I have to capture the luminance, red and green, red and blue channel and all those sort of things. But for a DSLR camera, this is really impressive results. I just can't believe how much data I'm capturing there. So as you can see there, we're taking the last shot. Okay, so we're going to dim down that, and I'm just going to cancel that. Okay, guys and girls, I'm just going to cancel that. Just bear with me. So let me just grab my quick release. It's already on 30 seconds. Oh, look at the level of detail there. I'm just hold on. Let me just show you, guys and girls. Show the camera. Right, as you can see there, just 30 seconds, I've got a lot of the detail just there. That is unbelievable. Seriously, 30 seconds. Well, I'll just show you the last shot. There we go, there's a 2 minutes exposure. Slightly blurred, let me just dim it all the way down. Look at that. Look at that. That's just, okay, not quite in the field of view that I might hoped, okay? But again, look at the test shot on that. That's just brilliant. How much detail I've got there in 2 minutes, man. That is absolutely amazing piece of kit. I mean, I just can't believe it, guys and girls. It really is. I'm having a field day now. Wow, the stars are well corrected as well. What a fantastic results, guys and girls. Really is. So as you can see there, awesome amount of detail within 2 minutes exposure, ISO 800. What can I say? What can I bloody say? I mean, that's really impressive results. I says, right, okay then. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some more shots of that, hopefully we're running out a bit of time, but so far I've got quite a lot of targets with just a few short exposures. This is really impressive stuff, guys and girls, without a doubt. Absolutely amazing. So I'll keep you posted. Again, please hit a like button. Please hit a like button if you see what you like there. Really is impressive stuff. So we'll move on and we'll keep collecting those photons. Well, guys and girls, we just finished with the California Nebula, right? And we only managed to collect around about 21 frames, which is still pretty good. Absolutely amazing. I've had problems with my connections and my guiding, so I've sacked the guiding off. Don't know why, what's going on. I think it's one of my cables that's gone faulty. But as you can see, not guiding now. I'm now unguided, relying on the mount, and it's quite annoying really. But this is real astronomy for you guys and girls. It's just the way it is. So I need to sort out one of my cablings. I think it's the cable from the USB for my camera. I decided to go crappy on me, so I need to sort that out. So now I'm doing the same again. On there I'm doing 2 minutes exposure, and I moved over to the M45 Pleiades. Alright, so one of my favourite targets using this telescope. Really is such a joy to image M45 Pleiades. It's a nice easy target, open star cluster, fantastic with this telescope. If you've got a Newtonian and you want to image stars with those awesome diffraction spikes, then you've got to try out M45 with a Newtonian telescope. Really is fantastic. And as you can see, we've just raced through a few galaxies, straight onto a nebula, and then straight onto an open star cluster. Absolutely amazing piece of kit, this Nexus. Absolutely super fast, super quick, and I'm collecting that data in no time. All right, I literally set up at literally about 7:30. I was literally off on my way, and it's coming up to 10 o'clock. That is super quick. The amount of data I've collected is unreal. So it really does pay off, this awesome device. So it's taking the shot. So what we do is we'll cancel that shot, and then I'm going to show you. I mean, let me just see. Look at that, even just 10 seconds exposure. It's actually quite amazing. So we're going to show you that was 10 seconds exposure. Again, we've got all the bright stars there, but we just check the last shot. So we're going to dim it down so you can see. Oh wow, as you can see, there's a bit of a hazy cloud, but we can just make out the nebulosity there, the nice diffraction stars there on the big brighter stars, and as you can see, we've got nebulosity within 2 minutes exposure time. That is really impressive stuff, guys and girls. So already, what a performance. What a superb piece of kit, this Nexus. F3 is not to be sniffed at. So as you can see there, guys and girls, very impressive results throughout. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this. Again, what can I say? It really is such an impressive piece of kit, without a doubt. I mean, come on guys, come on guys, you can't, I just can't believe how much this setup has performed. It really is. So now what we're going to do, like always, we're just going to get out of that, smash out as much data before M45 literally goes away, because it will get low into the night sky. But what can I say, guys and girls, fantastic results throughout, despite I'm having problems with my guiding because one of my cables has gone a bit crappy. But apart from that, I've just gone through galaxies, a few galaxies, straight to a nebula, straight onto an open star cluster within literally 2 hours of use. All right, fantastic results. Again, I'm willing to sacrifice my important imaging time for you guys and girls, so please smash that like button, all right, because at the end of the day I'm showing you guys and girls the real stuff. And like always, this is, I mean, I must admit, it's definitely worth getting the Nexus, the chroma corrector, and it's like obviously the focal reducer is absolutely amazing. And F3 is just unstoppable with this telescope. What a superb upgrade, highly recommend it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press on, collect those light photons and smash that data, and then after that I'll start taking dark frames. So watch this space, guys and girls.
Well, guys and girls, what do you reckon? Absolutely fantastic. I am absolutely over the moon with that Nexus 0.75 times chroma corrector and reducer. That F3 is, I can't believe it, it's absolutely staggering. The speed, the performance from it is just out of this world. I cannot believe I've collected data as quick as that. It really is quite remarkable. Yes, I do agree it is very expensive for what it is. Also, I also like to highlight is when you use this chroma corrector, your collimation needs to be spot on. So I'm guessing that laser collimator, I'm guessing that laser collimator that I've used is not as accurate, so I'm going to be looking at, and it's literally got to be spot on. So I'll be using the OCAL collimator for this, so I will adjust it up, use the OCAL collimator to adjust those optics, because the laser collimator, yes, it works, but it's touch and go. It's not as accurate compared to the OCAL collimator. So you need to use a decent collimating tool to provide that you get the very best image quality when you're using this chroma corrector. It really is crucial. By speeding up the F3, you really need to get that collimation perfect. So having said that, you look at those images, I am absolutely stunned on how it's performed. And yes, £475 is very expensive, but compared to some chroma correctors that I've seen that do the focal reducing are very expensive. And the one I did really want was the telescope service, and that was the 0.73 times that I really wanted. However, it's almost £800, and that's not including shipping costs. And I was not prepared to pay that amount of money for a chroma corrector just to speed up a little bit more. f2.8 is really fast for a Newtonian, and I must admit you can tell a noticeable improvement already. That F3 is not to be sniffed at. So for a little bit more, it's not practical. So that's why I went for the Nexus. The Nexus from Starlink products, you are paying for quality, and I do like how the Nexus chroma corrector comes well packaged. It does have some instructions that tell you how to use it. It really is a high quality product. The glass is absolutely gleaming, very multicolored as well. All right, so you are paying for premium optics, which is very crucial when you want high quality images, and you can see that with the images. Really is ultra sharp, very pinpointed. Also, with the WEGA upgrade, that extra baffle that I've installed really does make a difference. I really did struggle trying to find the dark shadow luminance which appears quite often with this telescope, and it's even more so with the PDS. So with that WEGA Baffle upgrade, it's definitely worth considering, particularly if you're owner of the PDS or a standard P Newtonian reflector. That effect is a lot more prominent compared to the Quattro. Now the Quattro already has baffles in it to reduce it, but it does actually make an improvement, a slight improvement. So it's very hard for me to tell that weird pattern in the stars. And to be honest, it does work, and you can fit it to the Quattro. So again, definitely recommend considering that WEGA Baffle upgrade. It really does make the telescope a little bit better. And again, this is the problem with the Quattro and all imaging Newtonians. There is so much tweaks you've got to do to get it to that level at that high level of images. But they do have slight flaws with the coma. But again, this is ways where you can improve on this telescope and make it better. I've now got to a point now that my telescope is now to a point where I've done absolutely everything as possible. I've done everything on this telescope that I'm satisfied with its performance. And yes, I have spent a lot of money on a Newtonian imaging reflector, but who cares? I do like Newtonians for the high speeds and all that, and it is worth every penny. So all the upgrades I've done to this telescope is definitely worth that. It's definitely worth investing. It really is. I've now got an imaging Newtonian which is ultra fast. Yes, it's bulky, but now I'm going to use it more often because the images you get from a Newtonian are simply outstanding, without a doubt. And I must admit, that 0.75 times reducer, it really is definitely worth the investment. I've now got an ultra fast package. I can take images, literally high quality images. A 5-minute exposure time is literally probably 30 seconds to a minute. That is super fast, and that is something you've got to consider. If time is against you and you don't, particularly in the summer months when you don't have much hours of imaging, use this Newtonian reflector, gather tons and tons and tons of data. You can take literally hundreds and hundreds of images within a short period of time. It really is definitely worth that upgrade. And that f3 ratio, not only does it speed up the time of your exposures, but also it widens the field of view of your given subject. So whatever camera you're using, it does widen the field of view. So would I recommend the Nexus reducer from Starlink? Definitely yes. I reward this 4.5 stars. And the reason I only did it 4.5 and not the 5 stars is because the price is a bit pricey. However, you do get awesome, stunning optical quality. You do pay for the glass. You know, you're paying for a high quality product here. So the price is the only drawback, I would say. Also, the WEGA Baffle mod, I will reward that 4 stars. Reason for that is, again, the price. For what it is, for a printed plastic ring, €46. Come on, telescope service. That's really a bit pricey. I mean, it's a lot of money. €46 is a lot of money. And for something that's only a printed plastic ring, I think they should really knock down the price a little bit just to make it a little bit cheaper. That's the only concern. However, having said that, the Baffle mod works a treat. Maybe not so for the Quattro, but definitely for the PDS, where there is no baffles in that system. And again, it will work out with the normal P-class Newtonian reflectors as well. So definitely, I definitely recommend that mod without a doubt. It does correct the weird artifacts within the stars. So yes, it's definitely worth doing the modification. Just be careful when you take it apart and when you're installing it. It does take a bit of time, but if you're careful, guys and girls, this modification will work out for you, particularly the PDS owners out there. So that concludes my video. Please hit a like button, and again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new. Also, don't forget to share this video out, and don't forget to hit the bell. I'll keep you notified for any new videos that I publish out very, very soon. So to that on, thanks again, thanks for watching, and I wish you all clear skies.